real quick.
Okay.
All right.
Probably want to. There you go.
Hey, Danny.
Hey, what's happening, Mark? How are you?
Oh man, doing pretty good, dude. Just watching this crypto market dip.
Yep.
Man, look at that. On the 3-minute chart, we can see, dude. Look at this.
A little bit of a reversal.
Yeah, reversal right there. So just looking for confirmation breakthrough to buy this dip. I mean, I think if somebody wanted to pull the trigger right there at 2.92, I think probably would have been a good entry just based on that dip. We got into this. We're looking at it, basically in terms of a pullback or confirmation of some bullish trend, at least on a 3-minute chart. Just looking at it, God, man, Danny, this market today, this crypto market. I mean, we got a lot of things happening in the news. Tariffs, right? We got Fed not lowering the interest rate.
That's right.
Just different things that are causing some concern. Some liquidity in the derivatives market, as well as in the crypto. There's a profit sharing or profit taking place as well.
Yeah, I'm sure that has a big factor in terms of people just wanting to pull their profit off. A little bit of uncertainty going on. So now, how much support? We're going to be able to look at the charts and see where the support levels are and identify: is this the new bottom? Is it going to chop? Are we going to keep seeing a
Yeah, what I'm seeing, I'm looking at the charts. You can see the same pattern on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. Very similar patterns. So it looks like a lot of big money is moving, and just big moves just happening that are moving this market. It's not just somebody's buying XRP, somebody's buying Ethereum, somebody's buying only Bitcoin. It's the crypto as a whole, right? So.
That's right.
One of the things, right, Dan, we were going to look at is, if we zoom out to the daily chart and we see, okay, for example, what is XRP doing on the daily? We were talking before, Danny, like on July 4th, where we were watching it,
right,
and we saw this breakout pattern, and we were waiting for a confirmation of a candle to form outside of this pattern. And once we had that, we were able to see a breakout. And we were able to see that we're seeing a reversal now. The question is this the bottom, right? That's the question.
Right.
Is 2.98 the bottom, or are we going back to, you can see that the 2.9, this range that we're currently in, you can see there's a couple of wicks here where we're coming back to test that. Is it strong enough to hold? Or are we coming back to the 260? And then eventually are we going to see ourselves coming all the way back to, $2? That's the fear, right? That's the fear. So if people are holding it and had it, and are afraid it's going to go down to 2, then we're going to see some FOMO selling of fear of missing out of keeping funds, right? Keeping some of the profits. So, or is it a buying opportunity where you buy the dip? I've seen a different forecast out there saying that, the $3 range, below $3 is a buy. It's the new low for XRP. So we'll see if that holds true. But you can see if we took, if I took this line and just took it from this wick and kind of just connected the dots, you can see we formed a consolidation pattern, right? And then on the bottom side, I don't see a solid, this wick is gonna set that pattern. So
right.
I think for me, that's where the uncertainty is. Where, if there was a wick, a couple of wicks, like, that's not a big one. But if there was a wick down here, if I drew the line, I want to draw it like this.
Right.
I want to draw it like that. But when you draw it like that, you can see that, hey, we're breaking down, right?
Yep.
It's a breakdown. How far are we going? That's what that looks like to me. If I go to the weekly chart, just to zoom out just a little more, um, we formed a line of resistance at about the 340 from the historic, and you can see we tested it, but we failed. This candle we're in right now on the weekly, it's not over, but it's maybe just a healthy consolidation. It's just a healthy pullback consolidation with some more run up in the future. The question is, can we, are we going to hold through this, or, my strategy is that, I'm going to hold. I've been holding a certain amount of XRP, for example, like 7,000 shares of XRP that I'm just holding through it all. And then I'm also playing with a sum of money where I'm playing the dips and cashing out on short-term gains as well. So, yeah, it's an interesting setup. If I go to the 4-hour chart, you can see the same pattern, right? The line, I drew this line in the 4-hour chart. You can see it kind of falls through, and you can see all the retests, and you can see where it's broke through. But during that breakout, it's broken through and trying to break through this. Lot of buying in this region. 51 million orders were placed at this level of about $3, $3 to 3.05. So, can that hold and support it? If it's coming down and breaking down, you can see there's 100 million orders that were placed at the 2.8 to 2.93 level. So there's a lot of support here that can hold this up, meaning that if people bought here and they're taking profits here, right? If I took this measurement to the high, that's a 27% return on that investment. So if you put 100,000 just in this short period of time, you've made $27,000. So there could be some profit taking that's occurring, obviously, to a certain level, and then people are buying again to a certain level, and then people are buying again. And so now we're coming down to a level where there's a lot of people that bought. If they took profits, then they're probably willing to buy again. And when they do that, it causes a bounce, right? It causes this wick to form, because once it gets down to that level, there's so many people that just rush in and buy, and it just
Right.
pops the price back up, and it forms these wicks. So, definitely if this, for me, we're at 2.97. I added a little bit here at about the $3 level. And, but if we get down to, the 2.8 level, then, definitely interested in adding some more. One of the things I'm looking at as well for XRP is, do we get confirmation of a breakout beyond the resistance that is formed even on the 3-minute chart from today? You can see here at 9:42 a.m., or actually even before that, we started the bearish momentum, and man, that's a pretty steep bearish move. Looks like it's retested it a few times, and then we got the signal that there was a failure coming. And based on that, you can see it actually did. It hit this point, and now it's coming back. Is it going to come back to this level? In the short term, on the 3-minute chart, which is very short term, if you're day trading, is where is this bottom? Where is, if there's a point where it comes back and hits, and then you get a green cloud and a green signal, bullish momentum, will that be enough to break through this resistance that's forming? So that's kind of where I'm kind of looking at all this. And I'm sure, based on Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's probably going to look exactly the same. So they're all forming the similar pattern. So, whatever the entry is, or whatever the instrument, the crypto, the token, looks like they're following the same pattern. I don't see, if I go to Solana, yeah, see, there it is. It's the same pattern, right? Same resistance, same resistance, same resistance, right? So it's a very interesting setup. I think anything under $3 is a buy long term, right? You know, crypto, Bitcoin 114, anything under 115 is a buy. If I go back to Ethereum, that's Solana. If I go back to Ethereum, same pattern, 3,600. You know, 2.95. So if I go back to go down to the 1 minute just to see, you know, where is this gonna break through this level? You know, even on the 1 minute, you have some short term, you know, is it going to break through this level and keep going? Or is it going to find its way in some momentum and some buying at these levels? You know, go back to the so the 4 hour, you can see the wick came down to this level, 2.92. We're currently trading at about 2.95, not far, but still we're in this wick phase. So if we get a pump up, then is this the bottom? Any thoughts, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, there's a lot of factors, you know, in terms of buying the stock or buying the crypto and buying XRP, you know, what's the next, let's say 6 months to a year look like? This is definitely down from a all-time high. So is it an entry? I mean, obviously it's an entry from 360. It's an entry from 340. You know, right now it's under $3. So if somebody was looking to get into crypto right now, would I give them some ideas on making some purchases? Sure. I mean, it's never a bad time to buy.
Right.
Can you wait it out and see if there's a lower bottom? Sure, you can do that too. Will you miss out on a little bit? You'll have to be committed to actually watching the stock and seeing where it's going. So if you want to commit yourself for the next few hours through the end of the night and set some alerts as things start moving, that's what it takes. If it starts showing some bullish momentum back up, then you can say, okay, it's at let's say it's at 299, 289. If it gets to 301, then I'm gonna come back in because it looks like it's got some bullish momentum. If it drops to, let's say 285, you can wait to come in at that point. But you know, we're right around that range right now to where you should consider coming into the market into XRP if you're not in the market, or if you want to, you know, bring more funds into the space. Definitely right now is a good time.
Yeah, definitely not financial advisors, but like Danny's saying, just looking at the charts, there's definitely you know, entries that you know, when you're looking at history, you know, when if you were to zoom into this area, you know, it was trading at the, you know, 50 cents per share, and when we had that breakout in November, it formed another pattern here where we had consolidation. It hit a high of 290, came all the way back to 190. That's a $1 swing. That's almost 50%, 35%, 40%. And it bounced in this range until it had a breakout, got all the way up to 340. And then since then, that was in January. And then since January, we've been in a consolidation phase where we just broke out of that at the beginning of this month. And so breaking out of that and hitting a high of, you know, 3.64, 3.62. And then now we're back in that same formation of consolidation.
That's right.
You know, so now, you know, where is this going to, where's the breakout, right? Where is it going to?
Can you zoom back out? Can you zoom back out a little bit, Mark?
What's that?
Can you zoom back out a little bit? So part of the thesis for XRP, because we've been following XRP for so long, if we look at all of the initial breakouts and when they really start, like if we go back to like November, we have, because there hasn't been, let's say, full adoption into XRP yet into the mainstream financial markets. What really drives XRP is the news and the potential for mainstream adoption. So as there's more legislation, as more things happen in a positive direction for XRP and a positive for crypto, we can see there's natural breakouts because people want to come into the market and buy and be a part of this crypto and be a part of XRP. So there's a rise, there's some settling, there's some pullback, there's some uncertainty, and then there's more news. So it brings more buyers into the marketplace. It elevates, it elevates, it elevates. People sell off, kind of deflates a little bit. And then just recently we had some massive news for XRP. It increased, and then it's starting to deflate a little bit. Now, what's going to happen is there's going to be more surgence at some point when there's going to be some media that comes in, some news that comes in, some things that change, some legislation that change, and it's going to jump up. So every time there's news and there's growth and there's legislation that helps crypto, that helps XRP, it just bumps up a level.
Correct.
That's kind of what we've been seeing, and that's the pattern. So right now,
we're
a little bit of a consolidation, deflationary. Not much is really happening in the news in a positive. There's some maybe some
short term
stuff going around it in the short term. So I think that's what we're seeing here.
Yeah, it's normal. What we're experiencing is a normal part of the market. We see it like you're saying, Dan. If I took from November just in the
elections, Trump is going to
from the election to December, just in 1 month, it went up 400%. So that big of a move, there's going to be profit taking. There's going to be people that are going to be pulling money off the table. But at the same time, you have people pulling money off and taking profits. You got people trying to get in. So you start getting this
new levels, these new levels
consolidation, because that's the range. That's the trading range.
Yeah.
And then you get, either positive catalyst or just there's more buyers. The sellers just fade out and the buyers get in. Then it pops.
Right.
And then it hits another high. So even if we took from this point up here, that's 40%. I mean, that's huge. If you have 100,000, that's 43,000 in what? From January 12th to the 19th. That's within 2 weeks, you almost 50%, half your money. If you have 100,000, you have 141,000. I mean, that's massive. And so from there, people take profit, but then now they create a new buying zone.
Right.
And then you come to this level, like we shared earlier, where that's another, 60%. It's massive. It's massive. So with those big runs, even if I took from that high, all-time high, down to where we're at now at 296, that's only 20% out of 60, right? Or, it's not, if it comes all the way down and breaks through and crashes down to, back to 50 cents, of course, that would be traumatic. That wouldn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Not with the current breakout patterns and the current consolidations and the historical consolidations. It looks like a normal pattern that's formed.
Exactly.
Can it get down to the 2.78? Can it get down again to the breakout target of the 2.6? Can it come back all the way to 2.1? Yeah, surely it can do whatever the market's going to do. What the market does based on decisions that are made by retail investors and the big whales that are moving money around. And so we'll see what that looks like. But even if they do that, there may be there's people with dry powder that are waiting. So when it hits certain levels, people are pouring in. So where is that point? That's if you have that 100% answer, then you're always going to make money, right? Because you're going to be getting in the perfect spot. I haven't met anybody that has been able to do it consistently and 100%. I mean, we all have technicals. We have charts. We got the fundamentals. We're looking at all those and trying to predict those points. And I've been able to do it. right?
Yep.
At times, but not all the time, right? I know other YouTubers, follow them and looking at what they're predicting, and some were buying at 3.04. That was the bottom, or 2.96. This level right here is a buy zone for a lot of people that I've watched or follow. You know. So I'm watching here. If I'm looking at this in terms of a strong buy, you would maybe look for, we can see a resistance here, and so if we saw a candle open outside of this and close outside of this, it would be a more confident confirmation of a run. But sometimes with crypto, it doesn't give you that luxury to get in at that lower price, even at 310. Sometimes you'll get a candle like this.
Yeah, it moves really fast.
Goes from 240 to 270, and you're like, whoa, I missed out on, that one candle is 25%. It's like, so it's difficult to time it perfectly, because even if you have a marker set, I mean, you can set a limit order, set a buy order, so
That's
that when
true.
it hits that, you can say, hey, I'm getting in all day at 280, and just set that limit order, that buy order, and then every time it hits it, it'll fill, depending on how much volume how many orders you place. But going back to the 3-minute, just looking at, it looks like it's consolidating a little bit. Like I was saying earlier, right? I was looking at that saying, where's going to be the reversal? This is a potential reversal here. So,
Right.
we see this red cloud. We have a low, we have a higher low. And now what we're looking for is like a green cloud here. And if we get a green cloud, you can see, these little green clouds pop, and then the green signal pops and we get some run, but you can see it hits the resistance. So now we've got a strong dip. Even with these, you don't see the lower low and the higher low. There may be a tiny one here. It's not strong enough. Here, nothing, not strong enough. Here, not strong enough. So here I'm seeing a little more clarity, at least. Doesn't guarantee a reversal, but it looks like it's setting up for one stronger than the last few of the day. So this, of the whole day today, from at least from the morning till now, even here, you don't really see. I mean, I guess you can kind of see that there, but it's not as clear as this one. So I'm hoping that this is the bottom, but if it's not and it dips harder, then I'll be looking to definitely increase my my size, or increase and purchase some more, either XRP. If I go to Bitcoin, you can see there's the same. I would expect it to be the same for each. If I go to Ethereum, there it is. So Ethereum's already forming the cloud, right? So there's the green cloud already forming on Ethereum. So Ethereum, if there's horses, Ethereum is already got the green cloud going. We got Bitcoin going, right? We got XRP right behind it. So it looks like Ethereum is getting ready to, there's the green dots forming. We got the white dot here showing a reversal formation, so that we may see a green signal. It looks like it's testing the 13 EMA and getting ready to test some resistance. So to me, this is pretty exciting, because we're right at the cusp, right? So on Ethereum, if this is the bottom, short-term bottom, whether it's long-term or not, I don't know, but in short term, this could be the bottom for the day at 316.20, let's say, roughly. And so from there to now,
what's that percentage?
we're looking at, about 2%.
So based on that, Ethereum. So right now, if I'm probably going to consider putting an order in for the new fund. What was the fund called? The E that follows Ethereum.
The fund that follows Ethereum.
That is. Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go to my. got some in my Roth IRA, the one we're talking about. That's the new micro strategy is for Bitcoin.
Right.
The BMNR is for
BMNR.
Ethereum, right?
Yep.
So we got Tom Lee and also the CEO or the right of the Palantir has a 10%, 10% stake in BitMine Immersion Technologies, and so they're going to be looking to use Ethereum as part of their assets, similar to what MicroStrategy is doing. So that's going to be an interesting development. So I got a position on BitMine, but definitely an opportunity at these levels to increase the position. I'm right there with you, Danny, on that in terms of taking a look at where that is now is probably a good time to maybe consider that, right?
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up here too. Take a look at it. So right now it's currently at $34.
Yeah, look at that. It's bounced perfectly on the previous day low. So it's got some support there. And you can see even on the 3-minute, there's 200,000 orders historically that were placed at that time. So there's, it looks like a great, point to add, some position. Even on my individual investing, I'm leveraged in some options, and I have cash I could bring in to add to this if I needed to. But I'm with you, Danny. I think, even for myself, just adding, maybe just $1,000 just to increase my position.
And I have a paper trading account right now that started at 150,000. I'm currently up about 7,000. So this could be a good opportunity to just create some cash flow.
See, now it's saying that you got to do it during a market open. So
I'm
going to cancel that for now.
Yep.
Because we don't know what it's going to be in the morning. I don't want it to be just a market market order. I guess you can do it as a limit. But tomorrow morning, we don't know what that's going to be. If the market opens up and it's down to $20 and my limit's 33, I mean, obviously it could buy for that, but I'd like to, have a little more control during that. During that time, but interesting. Definitely an interesting setup. This one's forming the green cloud as well. Let's see what Ethereum's doing. I'm looking, you can see the consolidation here where you're forming even on the 3-minute, on the short term, we can see there's a consolidation forming here.
That's right.
Which way is it going to go? Is this just a retest here and it's going to fail and come down to lower levels? Or is it a breakout where we see more of this green momentum, bullish momentum with the green signal showing strong bullish momentum and a breakout outside of this resistance, which would be awesome because you can see that resistance has been there, at least this current one, since 9:42 this morning. So a breakout above these would be very nice to see. Looking back to Bitcoin, it looks like it's still consolidating there short term, and XRP same thing. So very interesting, very interesting developments. Yeah, I don't know, Danny. What do you think, man? Is that kind of watch it to the rest of the evening?
I think so. Definitely going to keep tabs on it and see which way it's moving. And
yep.
If we don't,
I think at this point, like you said, right, we keep watching it. If I wanted to add to my XRP position, I can.
Yep.
I'm pretty leveraged from what I'm looking at, if I were to get into something, I'd like to get into like a 2x, maybe a 2x leverage.
Yep.
Add to the position. I added a little bit at about the $3 level.
Yep.
I'll show you here what I got. UXRP. You can see I'm down a little bit on that, but like $5. I just got into it recently. Put about $2,200
Right.
into UXRP, which is basically a 2x leverage.
Mm-hmm.
So when this XRP bounces back, let's say it, even if it comes back to where it was before, if I take this and say, okay, I got in about, let's say the $3 range roughly, and I bring it back to this, that's almost let's call it 5%, right?
Right.
So 10% right off the bat, just on a bounce back, just on a wick candle, daily candle coming back, or a weekly candle, that's 10% because it's 2x leverage, right? So that's
right.
a few $100s in a few days just to make a little bit of money.
That's right.
Just to play with the bounces. And I have, we talked, Danny, where I got, the Sol T.
Yep.
With the Sol T is 2x leverage. So I got 630 shares of Sol T to play a bounce as well. So if I go back to Solana, even Solana showing the same setup. So we're waiting to see what direction it's going to go in. But to get strong confirmation of a breakout, that's a good time to have confidence that, hey, we're on the upside. And how far is that upside going to go? Nobody can guarantee that, but you got a better, higher probability with momentum going with you, that at least you're going in an upward direction. And if you want to take profit when it consolidates and hits a resistance, you can do that. But different strategies for different people. So
that's right.
But no, Danny, I think I'm good. I'm going to keep watching this.
This is great. We'll keep watching it. We'll, if we see some heavy movement, maybe we'll jump on later, do another live. This was really fun. These are some of the things we're going to be doing. We're building out our Discord. We're building out our community. So we're working through some things. We haven't posted too many videos lately, but as we get more stabilized in our business flow of what we're doing with our community, we'll be able to jump back on and bring some more valuable content. So looking forward to sharing more content. If you're interested in learning more about selling options, crypto, you can jump into our Discord. We have a free email newsletter, and you're also going to get a free gift if you sign up for the free, just being a part of our community. We'll get that out to you.
The link's right down below in our YouTube channel. So click on that, just enter your email.
Yep.
And then we'll keep you informed. We'll give you some insights, crypto insights, some information on trades that are coming, things that we're getting into, things we're looking at, strategies, crypto, selling options, even some buying options, depending on setups. But yeah, definitely looking forward to, growing as a community and helping each other to get financially free, right?
That's it.
So keep an eye on that. It looks like it's testing the 13. It's testing the volume weighted average, and we got the resistance that it's getting ready to test as well. So I'm hopeful that it's a good sign of a reversal, but we'll find out. If not, then we can test it'll test the resistance and then potentially break down. So hopefully it goes this way.
Yep.
But if not, then we're potentially looking at maybe something like this to a different level. But
and something else that is a strong consideration, I think Mark alluded to this earlier, is that we're always going to be looking for strong signals of momentum, whether it's bullish or bearish. Those strong signals of momentum, they become so obvious that it's great opportunities to either get into the market, do cash secure puts if you have cash and you want to get into the market. So these strong momentums, and when there's such big moves in a single day, the market's not going to just crash every day for the next 30 days. Right. So if you have a big movement in one day, one direction or the other, that's a strong indication that at some point it's going to take a little breather and come back a little bit and try to cover. And you can see it moving. Yeah, you can see it moving in the 3 minute. You're not going to see this in a daily because the candles are just not going to show that. But in a
I'll show this real quick, Danny, since we're here. Hopefully we didn't get people taken off before we got a chance to show it. But we were looking. I was doing some Sol T trading, and made about $680 in just day trading, just because the momentum was so solid. You can see where my buy target was set, and I purchased and just held on for about 22 minutes and captured some profits. Here, this one was a 2-hour hold. And we're just leverage for a short term, just to capture some profits.
And the difference between what Mark's talking about and day trading is that there's no time decay, so you're not fighting against the deltas of the Greeks when you're buying the stock. Now, if the stock is going to go in a strong direction and you can get into a 2x leverage position, you're in a really good spot to make some money. I mean, the odds are super in your favor. Now, if it doesn't go that direction, you may have to hang on to the stock a little bit longer before you get out. But it's a little bit of a different strategy than day trading specifically, and I'm sure Mark can elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah. So we're doing different strategies, but we got, like here, I collected $720 profit on a contract that was 85 days. I closed it out about 13 days into the trade because the momentum was pretty clear. I owned the shares of the stock, and so looking at it, opened up a sell call option on SoundHound for expiration of 9/19, 10 contracts, and then I sold them at a lower level because the stock went down, and I could see the momentum. So in a short period, I was able to buy it back at a lower price and collect 50% of the premium within 13 days of the trade, and did not have to wait the 85 days. And then from that point, the stock bounces, and then you could enter another cover call, rinse and repeat, and just be collecting premium, especially if these types of support and resistance, right? So if the stock's trading in this range, if you were doing this as a stock, then once it got to this level, you can do a cash secured put, collect premium. If you own the shares of a stock and you see something like this, you would enter a covered call. You're not trying to sell your shares. You're just trying to make money while you own the shares. So you would enter here, sell here, collect 50% of the premium in a couple of days, up to 80% of the premium, and rinse and repeat. So there's definitely profits and money that we're making on a consistent basis. We're just cash flowing. Here's one with $860 with a covered call, same shares, same contract. Here's 715, where I made $860 profit on that. So 715, and then here we are, 721, making another $720 on the same stock. So that's $1,300. I mean, it's pretty amazing when and can see the momentum and the change in direction. You can take profits, and you can enter positions and close them early. You don't have to wait till expiration. Here I had one $5,600 profit on XRP. I held it for 65 days. You can see I purchased 2,500 on the 23rd, and then also purchased looks like 350. And then down here, so I was purchasing and dollar cost averaging into it. And then here you can see I had a market buy of 5,000. So, and then here I sold it. Yeah, this is a sell for, let's see, for 10,000. And then there was one more sell here for 4,000 roughly. So 10,000 plus that is a total of roughly about 14,000. And my total purchase was 8,000. So when you do the math on that, there's a significant profit that was achieved. So, that's an example of, just I'm in it to make money, right? And selling options is definitely our bread and butter. Selling options is the easy, 2% per month. You don't have to think other than, figuring out and looking at the charts to see where the support and resistance is. You got cushion on the strike price, and there's room for evens for error. But on day trades or swing trades or buying call options, for example, like here, I bought a call option, stayed in the trade for, each candle's 3 minutes. So that was about 10 minutes, right? So you get into a contract, and then you get out in 10 minutes and make $300. But that requires an intense focus. It requires you to be there. Whereas selling options, you're looking at charts, it's more nonchalant. You're entering the trade, you're monitoring it. You can monitor on your phone. You can be at work and just being like, okay, here's where we are. But when you're, day trading, it requires an intense focus. So, because we're looking at the charts, all day, we're able to find opportunities to make some short-term trades if they present themselves as obvious. Like here, this is what we were talking about. There was a lower low, a higher low, and then we got a green cloud, we got a signal, and then we get confirmation of an entry, and then we enter and we exit once it starts consolidating. And when you do that in 10, 15 minutes, you make $100 just because you're there, because you see it. You can click a button, make $100. It's like, that's kind of how that works. Same thing here on Tesla, entry, exit. That's about a 5-6 minute trade. You can see the account P&L, $284. You can see the buy in the contract at a average price, and then selling it at a higher price. 2 contracts, $284. Filled times. So we're definitely in this to make money. If you want to make money, if you want to learn how to sell options, if you want to learn our strategy and how we look at the market, click the link below, sign up for the newsletter. There's another link there where you can, sign up for our Discord. Our prices for entry is not bad. There's guys out there that are charging $3,000, $5,000 to get into their coaching and their Discords and their using their strategies. We're 10% of that. $300 to onboard you, $49 a month, $50 a month to learn this and to see the setups that we have. We got some cash secure positions that we're putting out. We were looking at AMD. That was a no-brainer. You can buy shares and enter some cash secure puts, and you can make 2% ROI on your cash on a collateral of 13,000. You can make a $300 premium, 2.2% per month, 26% per year return on investment. That's amazing. We're targeting about 24% per year just on option selling. So that doesn't even account for the getting assigned and then the run up on the bounce, right? On the supports and making the cash on the way up. So there's definitely opportunities. We post these. I put the timestamp it, where the ticker, where the stock is trading, what the strike price is. And then what we would ask and what we're teaching people to do is, do the due diligence so you can find these support lines and entries to be able to get into positions, right? So when I was looking at Apple, I could see there was clearly strong support at 195. It was a no-brainer. The stock was trading at 210. It was in a consolidation sideways movement. And Apple's a solid company. So when you look at this trade at a 200 strike with $300 premium, 1.5%, to me, it's just easy money. There's no guarantee that you're gonna, make the premium and that Apple's gonna stay above 200. But I don't mind owning it at $200. I mean, and then when you look at Apple now, right? When you look at Apple and you see that it's, currently trading at, let's see, go to the 3-minute. It ended its session at 212. I mean, it's definitely they beat earnings, right? So they exceeded expectations on their earnings. So they're up a couple percent, which is equivalent to the premium. I'm sure they can keep running. If somebody wants to buy, you can see here's the same setup, right? You got a lower low, a higher low, and then you got a green signal. So what's Apple going to do? It's going to run. How far is it going to go? I think at least to 214, 214. So that's the next line of resistance that I see. So to me, it's pretty clear, right? It's like, okay, these are clean signals. Doing a strike price of 200 means that Apple would have had to fall all the way down to this level for me to buy it. I'm going to buy it. Somebody's going to give me $300 to buy their Apple stock at $200. I mean, to me, that's a gift. They're giving me a gift. When was the last time? If I go to the daily chart, when was the last time Apple was at 200? It was back in June. It was back at 195. And then again, you can see even on the daily chart, massive support at about, the 195 range. And so, it's had resistance right here. You can see this on the daily chart. Resistance right at the 214. There it is, 214. So Apple now at 212. Right, that was my high pre-market retest to here. So I even had that line in there from before saying that's probably where we're going to retest, and that's where it's at right now. So, the technicals are pretty solid in terms of finding locations. You just don't know when it's going to test those points. It could be now, could have been next month, could be a couple months, but it hit it now. So these are just lines in the sand that people have either sold at those levels, they've purchased at those levels, and there's volume. And so you can kind of see the trend. You can not predict 100% accuracy, but there's high probabilities of some of these trades. If you're right 80% of the time, then you're going to make $80 for, and lose 20. So you're always going to be $60 profitable, right? You're always going to be in the money. So
there we go.
Yeah, sorry about that, Danny.
I got kicked off there for a second, but no, I was following along. It was good.
Okay, but yeah, it's really interesting. So that Apple stock, right? This Apple stock at 210 that expires on August 15th, which is 2 days. So we're already 2 weeks into it, or halfway through. That's $300 in my pocket.
Right.
Yeah. That combined with some other plays, Neo, I cashed that one out already. $200. So, I mean, that make my car payment.
Yeah.
Just from pushing buttons, just from looking at charts and saying, "Oh, that's a no-brainer."
I saw some really nice car payments in there. I think there was a car payment in there for like $800. You're probably driving like a nice SUV or something like that.
Yeah, Google, that was an easy one, right? That was a 165 strike. Where is Google? Google's
my gosh, Google is just
165. It's at 192. Let's go to the daily. I mean, there was so much when we got into it. Let's see, what did we get in? We got in at we got in on 7.8. So we got in right here, right at the retest.
Yep.
And so when this pulled back and retested and hit these dots and showed a green entry, you can purchase the shares and or enter a cash secure put, knowing that 165 right here at that time was a very strong support.
That's right.
And we never looked back. Once we entered that, it was just cash. I think, closed that out fairly quickly
Right.
because that was pretty quick. Um, and then Tesla, that was a no brainer as well. 265 strike, even with the pullbacks. Tesla, even with what it's gone through, and it's at 308. You can see Tesla's got a lot of notes there. Let me turn those off for a second. You can see a lot of consolidation on Tesla, and that's been happening since December. And so when everybody's freaking out and it's, oh, we're going up. Oh, no, it's crashing all the way to zero. Oh, look, we're going to the moon. Oh, we're crashing to zero. If you have this system and you can see this, then you just know that, hey, if you own the shares, you can do, and you don't want to sell them, you can sell a covered call here. All right.
That's right.
You can sell a covered call when the signal hits and get out. That's a 20% drop. You're going to get 90% of your premium in a day or two. And if you don't own the shares and you see a retest down close to this line, you're entering a cash secure put here, maybe even closer to the money, maximizing your premium and just collecting premium.
Right.
You own the shares and you sold it here, you're getting back in with a covered call. That's what I was doing with Soundhelm. I'm just rinsing and repeating. I'm just selling calls and I'm just making money on the bounces. So
That's
even
right.
though the stock is trading sideways, right? If you own the stock, if you bought the stock here and you rode it to the present, 308, you're up 4%, 5%. That's not bad for, a couple few months. But if you're making 2% on every, you're making that 4% plus, 2%. Now that's 6%. Another 2%. It's 8%. And then you're in line to make another 2%. That's 10%. So you're doubling your return on the stock movement. So Tesla's a very interesting stock. Got a lot of volatility. So let's go back to XRP. Let's see I'm curious to see what it's doing now on the 3 minute.
Yeah, exactly.
I was kind of looking at a reversal. Let's see if it broke through. It's starting to. You can see.
Yeah, we got the green cloud is starting to form.
Yeah,
I put down a price.
Get Ethereum. Looks like it's the resistance is repelling it. So we'll see if it can break through. It's trading right now on the trend line. Previous date low. And then let's look at Bitcoin one more time. Let's go to the 3 minute. And we can see Bitcoin is saying, hey, I'm right there. I'm ready I want to break through. So there's a lot of buying momentum right now, pushing that resistance. But there's also some selling happening. So there's a lot going on at this point here. So we'll see if it can break that. If Bitcoin can break this, there's a very high chance that these other guys will just follow right along. So it looks like Bitcoin's holding pretty strong. Ethereum's right behind it. You can see Ethereum's broken through. There's only one line here in the sand, whereas Bitcoin, you can see there's multiple resistance levels. So Bitcoin's testing that hard, trying to break those, where Ethereum is kind of casually coming towards it and hopefully can just break through that as well. But even from the time that we started to now, that's about 2%. Bitcoin, it looks like about almost 1%. And then XRP, we're looking at about almost 2%. So, if you're, we're looking at 2% per month, right? It's a good 24% per year. Is pretty good ROI for any type of, heavy investment, long-term investment. 2% in a day is not bad as well. So.
Yeah. And if you just dump all of your portfolio in there, then you're just done for the year.
You're done for the month.
For the month. Yeah, exactly. It's done for the month. Just do that once a month for about 10 minutes and you're in good shape.
Right. So, no, good stuff, Danny. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more. We'll definitely, it helps us, encourages us because, we're putting our time, energy to get this content out to you guys. So, appreciate the support.
Absolutely.
And, put a comment down in the comment section. We'll see those. And, we could take a look at a stock that you're looking at or a crypto, and we can do some analysis. And if you have any questions, comments, let us know.
Yeah, hit us up. And if you want to give me a call, my cell phone number is if you want to jump on a call after this live webinar, we can get on and go deep.
All right.
We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll keep it going.
Keep it going.
All right.
All right, Mark. Cool. Thanks for jumping on. That was great insight. Talk to you later.
We'll continue next time.
I'll be watching.
Keep an eye on that, man.
All night long. I got multiple alerts.